TG Geeks, episode 25, June 15th, 2015. It is definitely June in Phoenix. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, your producer here at TG Squared Studios in lovely, hot as the blazes, Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also in It Feels Like It's the Surface of the Sun as opposed to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. So to start things off, Spider-Man. We're all really excited about it. We know that Marvel finally kind of got their hands on it. Well, not entirely. We need to remember that this was a joint cooperation effort between Marvel and Sony. Yeah, and that means that they have to come to agreement when it comes to, say, casting. So, apparently, Asa Butterfield, who had been the front runner for the part of Peter Parker in the upcoming Spider-Man, well, actually, first it was going to be Captain America Civil War, and then he was going to have his own Spider-Man film. Well, turns out Sony, not so cool. They don't really care about him that much. With the podcast Meet the Movie Press, Rap reporter Jeff Snyder revealed that sources tell him that there are only 3 contenders left in the running: Tom Holland, Charlie Plummer, and Matthew Lintz. I don't know
Who are they?
Who, and who? Yeah, who, and who. I'm not familiar with any of these people. Conspicuously left off the list was Asa Butterfield, and as I said, a lot of people really thought he was going to get the part. Now, Snyder has added that the casting is currently at a standstill, as Marvel very much wants to see Charlie Plummer, who was in the show Boardwalk Empire.
Broadwalk?
Yeah. Boardwalk Empire. However, Sony wants a star of the impossible and a show called Wolf Hall, and that would be Tom Holland. Apparently, the two studios cannot come to an agreement. Now, this plan was to have kind of all come together in order to shoot Spider-Man's Captain America Civil War scenes this month. Yes, we are that soon to things. But it appears that may not be the case. The character scenes might be moved to a shooting schedule, say later next month, if ever. So,
if ever, yeah.
It was a huge miracle that Marvel and Sony was able to come to any kind of agreement regarding the character of Spider-Man in the first place. But now
two studios talking together?
Well, yeah,
Amazing.
Imagine that. But apparently now there's some kind of standoff going on, and I'm really hoping that this isn't Sony trying their way to maybe get back at the whole Marvel deal. I hope not. I'd be very upset if that's what it turned into. So we'll just wait and see how that all plays out. And of course, as soon as we know anything, we'll be reporting on it. Now, there is an upcoming, it's not quite immediately upcoming, but one of the movies that is on Pixar's slate of films is a film called The Good Dinosaur. And basically the plot is what happens if the asteroid that hit Earth and killed all the dinosaurs, well, what if it missed? And, what would that do to dinosaurs? How would they be today? They were all very excited about it. They had an entire cast already picked for this movie. Emphasis on the word had, because they got rid of them all. Or almost all of them. The voice cast consisted of Lucas Neff, Bill Hader, Neil Patrick Harris, Judy Greer, and John Lithgow, as well as Frances McDormand. She's the only one who is staying. Apparently, Pixar decided to completely ditch the entire story and have gone back to the very beginning. I mean, they're keeping the basic idea, but the story details, it's been thrown out. So they went back to the drawing board, totally redid the story, and got rid of all those people. And now the new cast is Raymond Ochoa, Jeffrey Wright, Steve Zahn, A.J. Buckley, Anna Paquin, Sam Elliott, keeping Frances McDormand, Marcus Scribner, Jack Bright. Now, here's the part that just absolutely floors me. Almost 90, if not more, % of the vocal work had already been done.
Oh my God. With the new voice cast, it seems like they would have a lot more animation to do, and it's supposed to come out in December. That's what I thought.
It was supposed to open November 25th.
Oh my God. I don't know.
That's going to be a tough call. I mean, we've seen them do cast replacements in the past. We know that when they did Brave, Reese Witherspoon was originally supposed to play the part of Merida.
But that was way early.
But that was pretty early, and it was just one person. And you're right, it was very early because Reese, turns out she couldn't do it, I think, for contractual
I don't think
reasons.
she had done any voice work on it.
No voice work.
In the contractual standpoint phase of the movie.
It hadn't gone this far into production, so I'm really floored that Pixar would actually go to that kind of degree, totally ditch everything that they've done, and fire all their cast. I'm sorry, I've got a really weird feeling about it.
Yeah,
and
interesting.
And given that Neil Patrick Harris is also very, very closely attached to all things Disney, especially with Disneyland, so to kind of get rid of him, I don't know, it just kind of stings a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Moving on to the land of the rising sun, Japan. Now, they have certainly carved their own little niche when it comes to genre films, especially when it comes to monster films, specifically a certain kind of dinosaurish monster named Godzilla.
Oh, Godzilla.
Yeah, Gojira.
Gojira.
Now, we all know Godzilla is the mighty monster upon which 6 decades of kaiju entertainment has been based on. But, you know, he's kind of been given the shaft. I mean, what has he ever gotten out of all of this?
Other than treats of stomping cities.
Yeah. I mean, endless insurance claims, felony charges of terrorism for destroying major sections of Tokyo, and most likely considerable difficulty finding a job outside of the odd monster eviction. However, that's all changing. Thanks to a new decree from the Tokyo Ward of, and I hope I'm going to pronounce this right, Shinjuku, making Godzilla an official resident of Japan.
Well,
like, it's not just living out in the water outside of Japan. Now he's an official citizen.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah, no kidding. The move comes after the King of Monsters. Ooh, I'm sure there are some American King Kong fans that might take objection to that. Anyway, this move comes after the King of Monsters, or at least his head, ascended to the top of the Toho Cinema Complex in a special ceremony, naming him a tourism ambassador to the area. Now, there's no word on whether the role of tourism ambassador pays Godzilla a living wage. Does Godzilla even need a living wage?
No, heck no. He can live stomp on whatever he wants.
Absolutely. I mean, just look at the last American movie, and that's telling enough. But hopefully it's enough to allow him to get his feet under him without crushing anyone in the process. That is, in gratitude for the Zilla's contribution to Japanese society, Shinjuku Prefecture awarded him a cool new plaque of appreciation.
It was just some guy in a rubber suit.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Anyway, there was an official ceremony that took place in April. Everybody's really excited about it. Godzilla was finally given his due. And all I could simply say was, well, I'm glad that didn't happen in America. Because there's like all these, I'm sure that would go to all our tax dollars into that. Anyway, moving away from Japan and back to America to a little project that people kind of know as maybe Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Now, of course, everybody is kind of got that Star Wars fever again. Disney having bought Lucasfilm, we got 3 new Star Wars movies that are part of the big overall saga, plus bunch of side films that are going to be coming out. So everything right now is just geared towards Star Wars. I mean, there's a new Star Wars comic book line that's coming out, as well as books that are going to revisit episodes 4, 5, and 6. Now, those are already novelized right when the movies originally came to the theater. But
I remember reading it.
I did
the first
too.
One, anyway.
Oh, God. I was reading the first one in the movie house in the dark because I was just like so stuck on this story. I mean, I was just like totally immersed in it. That here I am in the movie house waiting for the theater lights to go down so I could see the movie for the first time. Meanwhile, I'm reading the book. I mean, it's like I didn't care. I just couldn't get enough of it.
I had the book and the soundtrack at the same time.
I had the soundtrack, and then I also almost, I think, like 6 months after that, even got the story of Star Wars on LP. I mean, that was just the Star Wars mania. Well, anyway, Disney and Lucasfilm, they're going to be releasing three new novels. Boy, that's a mouthful. That retell the original 3 films, but they're going to be digging deeper into the stories as well as the characters to share new insights and scenes.
Interesting.
Now, in a new series, now this all comes out on September 22nd, fans are going to experience the original trilogy in an entirely different way with New Hope. It actually is going to be called Star Wars: A New Hope - The Princess, the Scoundrel, and the Farm Boy. And it's written by Alexander Bracken. And then the second book is going to be called Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back - So You Wanna Be a Jedi. And then the third one, Star Wars: Return of the Jedi - Beware the Power of the Dark Side.
Yeah, I can get behind that one.
Yeah, and that's going to be by Tom Engelberg. And I should point out that also the Empire Strikes Back book is going to be put out by Adam Gidwitz. Now, these are new writers telling parts of the story we thought we knew, but there will be much more for the super fan. In other words, it's going to be worth revisiting this series. But these are more than just mere retellings from this top talent. These are fresh interpretations, true to the films, but filtered through each author's vision. In each novel, the authors get inside the characters' heads, tell us about the scenes between the scenes, and even teach us how to be a Jedi. And now, all indications seem to be that this is really going to be aimed for a young audience. But there's a lot of new stuff here to digest. This is a big move, and it will do more to expand the new canon of this Star Wars universe. So I'm kind of wondering, is this something that I'm going to want to read? Now, I'll probably get the first one. I'll probably get that for episode 4.
Yeah.
I'll probably read that one just to get a sense of how the stories are being presented. I mean, one of the stories kind of went a little further and described that Princess Leia, for example, she's dealing with all these issues about how people never really refer to her back on Alderaan. They never thought of her as a diplomat. They just keep thinking of her as the princess. Given these nuances that we could be experiencing in the books, it could make it for interesting reading. So, I mean, especially with The Empire Strikes Back, if they tell things from Yoda's point of view,
that could be interesting.
That could be a lot of fun. I could really enjoy that.
But Yoda died.
Not in Empire.
But he eventually did, so how is he going to write this book?
He told it to somebody.
Oh, okay.
Dictation. I don't know. It's a fantasy. Anyway, moving right along.
You mean it's not real?
It's not real. Oh, good heavens. Now, on to something that sadly is real. A couple of episodes ago, we did report that Christopher Lee had celebrated his 93rd birthday. Well, we are sad to report, I'm sure most people have already learned this by now, Christopher Lee, he recently passed away after being hospitalized for respiratory problems and heart failure. Now, his wife, the former Danish model, and I'm going to say this wrong, so please forgive me, Birgit Kronke, she decided to hold back the information for 4 days until all family members and friends could be informed. I mean, they had been married for more than 50 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
And they had one daughter named Christina. He was knighted in 2009 for services to drama and charity, and he was awarded the BAFTA Fellowship in 2011. I mean, the accolades that are coming in are endless. From musicians, prime ministers, I mean, everybody paying incredible tribute to the man's enormous talent. I mean, Tim Burton refers to him as being a true legend. In fact, I would say that Tim Burton probably gave Christopher Lee his second career, if you think about it, because he kind of disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
I think one of the last things that I remember Christopher Lee doing was James Bond, Man with a Golden Gun. I really don't remember much of him, much after that. But then he came back and did Sleepy Hollow. Okay. But it was he kind of got his second career, I think, originally from Tim Burton. and then he appears in Star Wars, and then probably where he got his greatest fame today would be through Peter Jackson. I mean, with what he got to do with the Lord of the Rings films, as well as Saruman the White. And did you know that he wanted to play Gandalf instead?
Really interesting.
Yeah, he was more interested in playing Gandalf. I think it's because he really wanted to play play a good guy. He didn't want to play possibly another villain, because that's what Saruman becomes. Oh, I'm sorry, spoiler.
As if nobody has seen
as
the
if
films
nobody
or read
knows
the books.
this. Exactly. But in any case, I think that's where a lot of people know him today. And I mean, like I said, the accolades are just huge. People are just very, very sad that he died. We're sad that he died too. But, I think his career ended on an enormous high.
Yes. If only everybody could die at a nice, ripe old age with such wonderful things being said about them.
Absolutely. And with that kind of legacy as well.
Yep. Here are a few selected birthdays for June 15th through June 21st. June 15th, Neil Patrick Harris is 41. Oh my God. Doogie Howser is 41.
He's not a small youngster doctor anymore. No.
Jim Varney of Ernest fame and Slinky Dog in the Toy Story franchise was born on June 15th. Jake Busey is 43. My God. I remember his dad, Gary Busey. He started his career on Mazeppa's Uncanny Film Festival and Camp Meeting as Teddy Jack Eddy way back in the 70s. Oh,
we're dating
ourselves. Late 60s, early
dating
70s.
Ourselves.
Yeah, okay. Moving on. David Rose was born on June 15th in 1910. He was a one-time husband of Judy Garland and composer of several tunes on the Disneyland Main Street holiday track.
Oh, far out.
June 16th, John Cho is 42. Stan Laurel was born on June 16th in 1890. June 17th, Barry Manilow is 71.
And he's still writing the songs that everybody sings.
Yeah, exactly. And Igor Stravinsky wrote some songs. He was born in 1882.
And is actually credited with writing probably the first piece of ragtime.
Really? I didn't know that.
I believe it was him.
Interesting. M.C. Escher, born on June 17th, 1898. June 18th, David Giantoli is 34.
Go Grimm!
Yes. Roger Ebert would have been 72. Carol Kane is 62, and Sir Paul McCartney is 72.
And he's still out there working like he was back in the days of the Beatles.
It's amazing. June 19th, Zoe Saldana is 36. Robin Tunney is 42. Do you know Robin Tunney?
Mentalist.
Yes, exactly. And oh my God, Ann Wilson
of Heart?
Yes.
Wow.
Is 64. Oh, can you believe
God, it? No, because that keeps reminding me of how old I'm getting.
Exactly. On June 20th, TG Geeks, we came into existence on this day last year.
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday. John Goodman, June 20th. He is 62. And Martin Landau, speaking of which, 86. And Errol Flynn was born on June 20th in 1909. June 21st, Prince William is 32. Chris Pratt is 35. And Jane Russell would have been 94, famous in film history for the Howard Hughes stainless steel bra in his movie The Outlaw, which was actually her film debut. And we acknowledge once again the passing of the legendary Christopher Lee, who gave us so many wonderful roles in film. Rest in peace.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, this is Crazy Joe. This is Dave, host of Megapodzilla, the podcast equivalent to a 100-foot radioactive robot lizard, but with horn-rimmed glasses and a pocket protector. That's nerdy. We're on the rampage, laying waste to the geek landscape. We'll talk movies, TV, comics, sometimes we talk turkey. Don't you mean chicken? That's right. So check us out at megapodzilla.com. We're also available on iTunes and the Zune Marketplace. Aw, yeah.
Yeah, go checking them out. Megapodzilla, our friend Crazy Joe over there. And it is time for our listener feedback. Yes, we have some feedback this week.
Yes, we do.
And guess who it's from? It's from our friend Crazy Joe. And he left us a voicemail even.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Crazy Joe. Just heard the last show. We discussed that Disney's doing a live-action version of the Night on Bald Mountain section of Fantasia. I, for one, am not happy. This news makes me very angry for two reasons. Well, one reason. One reason only, though. Tron 3. Disney recently pulled the plug on Tron 3 because they wanted to concentrate on their live-action remakes of animated classics, which have been quite lucrative for them. Okay, yes, they have been. Cinderella, Maleficent, he's brought in a lot of money. But Night on Bald Mountain, really? Who honestly thought that a live-action remake of Night on Bald Mountain has this huge fan base waiting for it? Now, no, look, Maleficent and Cinderella, the Disney princesses are huge. I got a 7-year-old girl. I know, I see it every day. The Disney princesses are huge, but may I remind everyone that Disney already, a couple years back, did a live-action remake of a segment in Fantasia. Nicolas Cage and Jay Baruchel's The Sorcerer's Apprentice. And it was not a box office hit, no. Honestly, I saw it. It's not that bad. Pretty much what you'd expect. Not a train wreck. It's not great either. But it certainly wasn't a huge hit. I think the fan base for Tron is bigger. And I think that if you look at them logically, Tron 3 stands to be a more profitable movie than Night on Bald Mountain. I think Disney really dropped the ball on this one, and I'm quite disappointed, and I'm interested in your take. And by the way, I agree with Arkle completely. Nothing against Black Widow. I like her, but I prefer to see She-Hulk as well. Bye.
Wow. Joe, total agreement.
Absolutely.
Well, for one, I'm highly, highly upset at the pulling of the plug of Tron 3. That bothered me enormously. Yeah, Tron Legacy.
I think it has a bigger audience.
Well, he's right. It does have a bigger audience. Now, Tron Legacy, granted, it did not do box office bonanza here in the U.S., but it was a huge, huge hit overseas. So overall, their worldwide box office take was very respectable. But for some reason, and I keep hearing talk that somehow it was the failure of Tomorrowland, which brought about the end of any hope for Tron Legacy or Tron 3. Now, regarding Night on Bald Mountain.
Yeah, I realize that Chernobog, the big bad in that scene or that segment, is a popular villain, but is
not enough to make a movie.
A live action movie. Even. I
mean, where are you going to go with that? The whole thing. I mean, look at Night on Bald Mountain.
Yeah.
And just
what's the story?
There is no story except that there's just this. It's night. There's this demon, and he's just frolicking in ghosts and hauntings and all that sort of thing. And what people need to realize also, especially if we haven't seen Fantasia in a long time, there's a juxtaposition between that and the Ave Maria, which immediately follows that. And that's what, it's that transition between the two.
Exactly.
That, I mean, you have to take both of them together and to actually say, okay, we're going to make a whole independent story about the Chernobog from Night on Bald Mountain. I mean, I just don't see how that's going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, that's a little bit better because there's a lot of places you can go with that.
Yeah.
As well as play homage to the Fantasia sequence. And by the way, I agree with you, Joe. Not Disney's greatest movie, but hey, I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I had a good time with it.
Yeah.
But I just can't see them doing this one as a live action film. And the fact that they're doing this one on the heels of pulling the plug of Tron 3 makes me equally upset.
Yeah.
So to borrow a phrase from Crazy Joe, man, I think Chernabog needs to be punched in the junk.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have some other feedback?
Well, there was just one little thing, and Joe did cover it in the voicemail. We did a story a couple of weeks back where we talked about Netflix's big advancement of their programming. And one of the things that had been rumored about is that we might actually get to see some kind of further development on Black Widow alone. And we were kind of excited about it because I think Black Widow is a very, very interesting character. And given her dynamics, I think it could be a very, very positive role for women, especially those that are very much into the nerd culture. I mean, there's a lot of, I think, very, very positive messages that could be shared there. And both Arkle and Joe, while they were very excited at the idea of Netflix doing expanded programming, they both said the same thing. They'd rather see She-Hulk as opposed to Black Widow. And, well, I had to think about this for a second. How popular is She-Hulk? I mean, she's part of the whole Hulk family. I mean, you've got the Hulk, you got She-Hulk, there's Red Hulk, and there's some other Hulks, I think, in there as well. I really don't follow them too closely in the Marvel comic book, so I don't know.
And He-Hulk. Oh, no, that's He-Man.
He-Man. But as far as a She-Hulk thing, well, for Netflix, there might be something there.
You never know.
I mean, maybe there is a possibility there.
Yeah, and if it runs one season, and it's fairly popular, it's what, 12 episodes, maybe?
They do about 10 to 12 episodes. I mean, that's what I think something like that for Daredevil. I can't remember the exact number now. I don't see, actually, it might be a good idea to actually have She-Hulk, because she may not have the kind of popularity to garner a movie appearance, let alone network television.
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
Okay. If you comment on our Facebook page, YouTube episodes, or at tggeeks.com, you could receive a shout out on a future episode. Or you could call our listener feedback line and we'll play your comment on air. 469-TG-GEEKS. That's 469-844-3357. And a special note, if you are a Skype user, you can look us up on Skype. We are TG Geeks. Send us a request for an ad. We will add you, and then you can call us on Skype and leave a voicemail.
Now, like so many people, Keith and I, we decided to cut the wire. We ditched our cable because it was just ridiculously expensive. And we've been looking at other ways to be able to satisfy our employment, our I don't know how to describe it, all the different programming that we really much enjoy. One of the ways we do that is, of course, our Apple TV. Now, just this last week, Apple had their WWDC. We were really excited because up to about a month beforehand, there was talk about a new Apple TV device.
And I was ready to give them money.
Yeah, we were ready to buy this thing. However, it's unlikely that we're going to be seeing it. You're also unlikely to see Apple's rumored internet TV service. And now the New York Times is reporting that, of course, there won't be any Apple TV hardware on display either. In a report mostly focused on Apple Watch and Apple's plan to launch a proper SDK for its wearable watch. The Times revealed that Apple had initially aimed to unveil a new set-top box at its annual developers conference. In fact, there was still the plan as recently as mid-May. The new Apple TV is said to have come with improved remote control and will finally allow Apple's developers to create apps for the television screen.
Wow.
But in the final run-up to WWDC, Apple apparently decided the product is not yet ready for prime time, and they decided to just scuttle it. They pulled it. So another problem, of course, is content. Apple's Internet TV service, which is supposed to be a competitor to Sling TV, which is another over-the-top service, is said to be far from completion. The company and content owners there, they're still attempting to negotiate price rights and technology issues. But as Recode reported earlier this week, Apple just isn't there yet. They're not ready.
Well, better the call it off than release something that's half-baked like Maps was.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where they're going with this. Maybe they just thought, I think there was some thought that they could announce it now, and it will probably be made available to the public like sometime maybe in September. But maybe that those few months between now and then were just not enough to get the whole thing ready for public consumption. So they thought...
Gives them another opportunity to have another big event after they announce whatever new iPhone is going to be this fall, and then they can have another fall event.
Yeah, that's true.
Or early winter event or something.
And I think you're right. I would rather have them put out something that is ready, that they know they can put out there, the consumers, and all the Apple fanboys, they can go out, they can buy it, set it up, and it will work.
Of course, what the price is going to be. It's going to be $199 instead of $99.
Well, maybe. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. You just have to wait and see. But that was the product that I was really excited about. I mean, I didn't watch WWDC because I didn't have access to the internet for that day. So I was very excited about the announcement for the new Apple TV. And then I get home and find out that they scrapped it from the actual keynote address. And I'm thinking, well, why the heck watch the keynote now? I have no interest in it. So anyway, hopefully this is not completely killed a project and that they'll be putting it out sometime soon.
Yep.
Keeping fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, moving right along onto television news, there's a lot of new casting that's being announced. The Flash is adding a new hero for season 2.
A new hero?
A new hero. Now, of course, the season 2 is not going to premiere until the fall.
Isn't the Flash the hero?
Well, why can't you have another hero? You can always have another hero. You can never have too many heroes.
And then it'll be heroes.
I see where you're going with this. No, I don't. I have no idea where you're going with this. But new details, as they are beginning to trickle in regarding what fans of the Scarlet Speedster can expect to see. Now, yesterday we learned that Barry will be getting, he's getting a new love interest.
Oh.
I thought after everything that went on that him and Iris would be, they'll finally be coming together, but apparently not.
Apparently not. Well, it probably because of the bad reviews that Iris, I like the actress, but my God, I was so tired of that character. I think wrote her really bad. Everybody that I know.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people. I believe I've heard it also on Tuning Into Sci-Fi with Kevin Batchelder and company. I believe they also kind of were, at best, kind of meh about Iris herself. I mean, she really just annoyed the snot out of me throughout much of this series so far.
Well, and our friend over in Ireland, Claire O'Leary, she was ready to fly over here and kill Iris.
Was she?
Yes, she just hated her.
Really? Okay.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claire. I had no idea she hated her that much. Wow. Well, as it is, we don't have to worry about Barry and Iris hooking up anytime soon because he is getting a new love interest in the form of a spunk science whiz named Wendy. Now, there is a new report that says that Barry's going to be joined by another hero when the show does return in the fall, and that the hero is expected to stick around during the entirety of the sophomore season. But we don't know who he is. They're keeping this one quiet. All we know is that on the casting call, he's listed as John Clark, a handsome, square-jawed man in his 30s to early 40s. And TV Line describes him as being slightly cynical with an edge. Everything is with an edge. Can we get rid of this whole thing with an edge bit? I mean,
it's edgy.
Oh, I'm tired of edgy. Anyway, the name is a pseudonym referring to DC Comics letterer John Clark, who worked on books like All-Star Squadron and Infinity Inc. The fact that he worked on All-Star Squadron, though, which is sort of a subset of Justice Society, is what's got a lot of people going, because there are some people thinking that this is actually going to be Jay Garrick, who is the original Flash from an alternate, well, I don't know if they're going to do alternate universe. I guess they are in the new Flash series. They're going to have to, but for those people who are very much in the know, in the final episode when through the time portal we see this silver helmet just come dashing right through with a pair of wings on it. That's the helmet of the Silver Age Flash named Jay Garrick. So who knows? Maybe that's the guy who's going to be showing up. We'll have to just wait and see. In any case, the people there at the CW, they're keeping his true identity a mystery for the time being. And of course, Arrow did the same thing last year with Ray Palmer, simply by referring to him as Daniel. Why don't I remember that?
I don't remember that.
I have no memory of them actually doing that. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Moving right along, now over to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., fans will get to see even more of the Inhuman Lincoln Campbell as played by Luke Mitchell, because Luke has been hired as a series regular for Season 3.
Interesting.
Now, he was first introduced last year as a member of the Inhuman tribe led by Sky's mother, Jia Ying. Lincoln possesses the ability to generate and wield electricity. I've always loved superheroes who have that power. I think it's really cool. He proved to be a valuable addition to our cast in Season 2. He has excellent chemistry with Sky. And I think that's the reason they wanted to bring him on. I mean, he's a really good actor. We were first introduced to him last year. He played a character named John Young in the CW's adaptation of The Tomorrow People. When that series was canceled, he was brought in as one of the Inhumans, and I think people just really latched onto him. The way he and Sky work together are just fantastic. And this also kind of, I mean, I hate to say this, but this also kind of sets up a possible love interest, lovey-lovey, smoochy-smoochy between the two of them. I hope they don't really go down that road too much.
Yeah.
Because that can get just a little bit too sappy. But at the same time, I think it's really exciting that they managed to get this guy in with the show. I think it could add a lot, especially given the whole new Inhuman direction that it appears Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be heading.
Didn't I see something that Henry Simmons, who Mac was?
Yes, Henry Simmons, and you're right about that. Henry Simmons was also made a series regular.
Cool.
So yay for him. I think a lot of people really like Mac. So I'm very excited for the future for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
And
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very excited about it. I think they've got a very solid cast right now. I'm glad that they've made these extra people a regular part of the show. And I think this show just speaks volumes as to how brilliantly done the show is being run.
Yeah.
Now, moving over to Netflix, specifically Daredevil, they're adding a new hero there as well. Possibly referred to as an anti-hero. His name is the Punisher.
I thought Daredevil was an anti-hero to begin with.
Well, then put two anti-heroes together and they don't make a posi-hero.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work that
You
way.
stole my thunder.
Beat you to it. Anyway, the actor who has been cast to play the Punisher is John Bernthal. I believe people might remember him from The Walking Dead. He took a bullet in that show from Carl Grimes after being turned into a walker. Well, it looks like he's going to get some hard-earned payback now for Bernthal because he has been assigned or given the part of Punisher for Season 2. Now, according to Jeff Loeb, who's the he's the head of Marvel Television, he said John Bernthal brings an unmatched intensity to every role he takes on with a potential blend of power, motivation, and vulnerability that will connect with the audiences. So I think that the character will be Frank Castle. I guess that will be the Punisher's civilian identity. And Castle's appearance will bring dramatic changes to the world of Matt Murdock, and nothing will be the same. Well, of course, nothing's going to be the same. Anytime you add somebody new, it's never going to be the same. And you don't want the same. Not necessarily. Not in a show like this. You kind of want to see growth. You want to see evolution. And that's what makes the shows exciting.
Yeah. Just a little shout out that we did on Daredevil, or for Daredevil at Phoenix Comic-Con. We saw a panel on Daredevil. It was a really interesting panel.
It was a fantastic panel. And so, yeah, I really want to give a shout out for that. It was one of the best things I'd seen at Phoenix Comic-Con.
Yeah. And the guy that was running it was, where is it?
Did it give his name?
No, shoot. Doesn't have his name.
On his
card, it's unrepentantgeeking.com.
Oh.
So, anyway.
I think he has his own podcast as well and a website. Anyway, Marvel did not specify the Punisher is going to be friend or foe to Daredevil in the Netflix series. But to anybody who goes online, you can find the Season 2 logo for Daredevil, and it's got bullet holes in it.
Oh, dear.
So the bullet-riddled logo sort of implies that, well, maybe it's going to be more on the foe side to Daredevil. And according to the comic books, they've always held a slightly adversarial relationship, but have rarely been outright enemies. So when more updates on John Bernthal and the Punisher breaks, we'll be here to talk about it. And I don't want to necessarily see them as all-out enemies. I mean, just have them kind of be a little antagonistic towards each other.
They just disagree on the illegal way of taking care of crime.
My illegal way is better than your illegal way.
Exactly.
I don't like the way you're doing it. I've been doing this longer. I know how to break the rules better because I'm a lawyer.
Exactly.
So we have that to look forward to, and it should be kind of interesting. I'm excited for Daredevil too. I think it's going to be pretty good, especially the way season 1 just really launched, and I think it's Netflix's #1 show. So now, from the high to the low, and yes, I actually did say that because I'm going to talk about Doctor Who.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how we feel about it lately. Well, responding to a fan's inquiry on Twitter about when the show's going to return, producer Nikki Wilson commented, "We'll be back in September." She also teased that Doctor Who is even bigger and better this year. That makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
If they're trying to hype it that way.
Because that's the same kind of hype we got for the series with The Impossible Astronaut. The way they were leading up to that, it was all about, it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, it's going to be epic. And they kept throwing out the word epic. And the only thing that was epic about it was my disappointment. Precisely. Now, season 9 will kick off with a 2-parter written by Moffat, God help us all, titled, the first part's going to be titled The Magician's Apprentice, and the second part is The Witch's Familiar. And the episodes are going to feature the return of, hold on, everybody, the return of Michelle Gomez as Missy. Already, I am disappointed. Series 9, I know, and I should not be talking this way.
I like the way she plays the part. I don't like the part.
She's bonkers. I mean, she is completely, utterly insane, and that's what really bothers me. The Master is not a loon. He is highly intelligent, highly calculating, fully knows what he is doing, and instead, we are given this woman who really needs to be in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's just a very intelligent megalomaniac, or the master, mistress, whatever, megalomaniac.
And the way that...
not cuckoo.
No, I mean,
Where's my cuckoo?
I mean, she's really bat blank crazy, and I just don't really care for that. So I'm not all that thrilled about her coming back, and I'm sorry to be such a Debbie Downer when it comes to Doctor Who, but I make no bones of the fact that I was very disappointed with the way the series ended, and I know that some people are going to view me as a heretic for saying that, but I'm sorry, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I will be watching it because I have to. For our Fusion Patrol, I know that
may or may not be watching it. I might take the month of September off.
September, October, November, for however many weeks the series is running, because it is going to run all the way through. Anyway, season 9 did begin filming in Cardiff in January, and rumored guests for the series this year: Faye Marsay as Shona. I have no idea who that is. Alex Kingston. Now, Moffat has come out and said that if he could find a good story for River Song, of course he's happy to bring her back, but he also kind of feels that her story's, the way that she ended a couple of years ago during the Matt Smith time, he felt that was a perfect ending. I think that was in The Name of the Doctor. He said that was a perfect ending for her. We don't, some other people, this Frank Skinner, Jack Whitehall, and hold on to this one. There's a rumor that they might get Roger Moore.
Really?
Yeah. That would be interesting. But when you get somebody of that caliber, he's either got to be a villain, or he's another Time Lord.
Hmm.
So take your pick on that one. Now, there's been a lot of comments that have been hitting.
Maybe I'll have to watch.
I know. There's been a lot of Twitter comments about what's happening with Doctor Who this year.
And don't say the C word.
No. I'm not going to say the CC word, no. Brian Minchin has said, this year the Doctor's having the time of his life, having dangerous and exciting adventures in time and space. They're having the biggest, most dangerous adventures they've ever had, and they're having great fun doing it. Okay, now I will say this. If they're having fun, I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with them having fun. My big complaint was the whole Dr. Clara relationship. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that the C word you didn't want?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to pinch your head off.
Sorry. Well, I being what it is, it was that relationship which I thought was just badly drawn out this last year. Now, Moffat has come out and said, as ever, and this is the comment I really dislike, Doctor Who is a combination of complete daft silliness, I like that, and loads of people getting slaughtered in the early evening. I don't know what to make of that.
What?
And then and here's the part that really disturbs me. From a tonally point of view, Season 9 is very much the same as this last Season 8. I hated Season 8.
Oh, dear God.
I mean, there were 3 episodes at best. 2 that I thought were really good. A third one that I thought was just good. But everything else I thought tonally was terrible. Just disliked the series generally as a whole. And if they're going for that same kind of feel to it, well, that's not something I necessarily want to watch. Moffat also said, I was looking for the Capaldi moments in every episode in Season 8, saying, we need a Capaldi moment. That moment when he's not Matt Smith, he's not Dave Tennant, where he's a dangerous, unpredictable, volatile character. So now, having done that, and having blasted our new Doctor at them, we can go other places with him in Season 9.
Okay. Whatever.
I don't know what to make of that. I have hopes that maybe they can. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of that. That just has me kind of puzzled. And here's another one that just really kind of worries me. Moffat concluded with, Clara's journey in Season 9 is very pronounced. She continues to complicate, and that relationship between the two of them is incredibly strong.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Now, with all things considered, I'm kind of curious.
We are not a PBS show.
No, but I seriously, I'm very curious. I would really like to know how this last season of Doctor Who did in terms of ratings and audience reception.
Yeah, that would be
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll have to research that.
Yeah.
We'll report back to you on that.
We'll report back to you on that. Now, before we go, Keith and I had the enormous pleasure of watching a web-based series called Origin Beyond the Impact.
Yeah.
Want to give them a shout out. And if anybody is interested on what Keith thinks of the series, he wrote an excellent review, which
Thank
is
you.
I really thought it was very, very well written. I was very pleased with it. And it is on our website at tggeeks.com. You can look for it there. So yeah, we want to give the filmmakers of that series a shout out. Jeff Patton is the director. There's a number of interesting cast members. Some of whom who've already read our review and have given a thumbs up. We're really happy about that. So, give a shout out, and we eagerly look forward to seeing what is in line for the future from them.
Yes, because they're supposed to release some new episodes this fall.
Yes.
Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.